just straight up love cowboy romance books, definitely add this to your list. I seriously think that if there was a book on relationship 101, you would see Colt. Hello, my beautiful book besties. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If we haven't met yet, hello, my name is Suze and I am an avid romance reader. I love anything that comes to dark romance, contemporary romance, and fantasy romance. But today, if you're anything like me and you love a good small town cowboy romance book that gives you vibes like Elsie Silver, Lila Sage, and Catherine Cowles, then look no further. Like, you might want to stop everything you're reading and add Cowboy Casual by Holly Renee to your TBR, or move it up your TBR list, because this was so good. Today, I'm going to give a spoiler-free review breaking down what I love, rating the spice and all the good things, and who I think this book would be perfect for. It gave me all the feels, it had all the spice, and it was the perfect chef's kiss small town romance. Why did I choose this book? I've actually never read a book by Holly Renee before, but let me tell you, I've been seeing this book everywhere on Book Talk, Instagram. It actually just came out in October, and this is Holly Renee's first cowboy romance debut novel. She's written other books that are fantasy romance and contemporary romance books, but I have never read them, so I kind of was going into this blind. But let's be real, what actually really made me want to read this book is the cover. One of my favorite colors, and it has like strawberries on it, and I've been so excited to read this book, and let me say, it did not disappoint. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Cowboy Casual is a second chance romance between two childhood best friends and lovers. We've got Blaire, who is your boss ass girl, and then we have Colt, who is now a hot, grumpy single dad. This is very much so giving Grumpy and Sunshine mix. So he has a daughter named Ruby, and I think she's around like 4 or 5 years old. And a little bit about Colt, he is a brother of 3, very protective, and let me tell you, he has the dirtiest mouth, and this man knows how to yearn. There's just some things where my mouth, like my jaw was on the floor. I seriously think that if there was a book on relationship 101, you would see Colt. I cannot forget to mention Ruby, and I think this is a thing I don't really love about like single dad trope books, because I feel like sometimes the child in the book ends up taking too much of like the book, if you know what I mean. But what I loved about this book is that Ruby, even though she's a 5-year-old child, I swear she had as much maturity as like a 30-year-old man. It was just so funny. She said the best things and like really made me think, damn, okay, do I really want to have kids or not? I feel like a little tangent coming on. Personally for me, I have never really felt that like motherly instinct in me. And I think the thing about it is that I just don't want to go through the whole childbirth. I love my sleep. I love being able to like take time off and go anywhere I want. And I just like love that freedom. But I will say I have thought about, and I do really want to consider adopting maybe in the next like 5-10 years, but not just adopting like a child. My goal is to like adopt a girl specifically in like her middle school age or like even older. And I've had so many people tell me like, why don't you want to adopt like a kid? Like, it's so much harder to adopt someone who's like a lot older. And I'm just like, hello, like that's the best part. Like, you don't have to deal with the diapers, you don't have to deal with like sleepless nights. Well, I'm sure like there still might be sleepless nights. Have someone and like be kind of like an older sister in a way, and teach and help like shape her to be the baddie that she is meant to be, kind of like what I kind of wish I had when I was growing up. Going back to Cowboy Casual, the reason why I bring this up, because there have been times in this book where I'm just like, damn, is this what it's like to have a kid and just to like to raise a little one and just go through parenthood. What another thing I really loved about this book is that Blaire had her own individual relationship with all the other characters, but then there's also someone else in the book, Maggie. So she ends up being one of Blaire's new best friends as soon as she moves into town. And what I also love is just like that girlhood, just like having each other's back. It's like they didn't care about what each other did. Like, they did care, but they were like, I'm not stopping you from hooking up with your childhood best friend. Okay, it's like, you do you. Just tell me about it later, like whenever you want to tell me about it. Okay, but let's go back to Blaire and Colt. And the slow burn in this book is absolutely so slow. I think the first spicy-ish scene was around the 55% mark, but it was so worth the wait, you guys. And I think what really just added to that angst and like that tension was just all the background and history between the two. But beyond just the spice, I felt like, and I really appreciated this about Holly's book, is that there was more than just the spice. There was the emotional depth, there's the other sub-conflicts in this book. Everything just mixed in so perfectly. I thought that this book was very easy to read. It's something that you could just like completely lose your mind into if you're looking for something like a little palate cleanser, if you're reading a lot of like dark romance books or fantasy romance with a lot of world building, I feel like this book would be so perfect, you know, just to like read in between all those books. Or if you just straight up love cowboy romance books, definitely add this to your list. The only critique I would have is the pacing kind of got off in the middle of the book. The first 70% of the book was great pacing. I thought it was really good. But then it was like around the 70 to 85% mark. I felt like it was just drawn out a little bit. But I would really say like that is like one of the most minor critiques I could give this book, because overall I gave this book a 5-star read. This is definitely going in my list of one of my top cowboy romance books ever. And I cannot wait for book number 2, which is called Small Town Smoke Show. So besties, that was it. That was my review of Cowboy Casual. I hope this inspired you to pick this up. Even if you haven't read cowboy romance books before, I think this would actually be a great way to get started into this whole genre. But I would say if you are, you know, a lover of Elsie Silver and Lila Sage, Catherine Cowles, definitely add this one to your list. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you made it all the way here, comment below what your favorite cowboy romance book is. I would absolutely love it if you liked and subscribed, especially if you love more reviews like this or want more recommendations. Until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!